afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Artist Spotlight Show with your friend Russell K. Kick back, relax. We got another one for you. And Rebecca Magnuson is in the house. She is a national recording artist, and she has something a really cool play. It's called She Sings. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about her journey. We'll talk about some fun facts about her. What is she up to nowadays? And what are some fun facts that she can share with us that we maybe would never know? We're going to find out this and much more on the Artist Spotlight Show as we are sponsored by Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide, Biker Bay Barber and Company, and Table and Bike Productions up in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. And so without any further ado delay, let's bring in our special guest, Rebecca Magnuson is in the house. How are you?
Hi, Russell. It is just wonderful to be here today. So, thank you for having me. I am doing wonderful. We're having a gorgeous day up here in Western New York. I think we're one of the few areas in the country where I can say that it is not even 80 degrees here. So, I don't know where
Wow.
exactly where you're located at, but we have beautiful weather here up in Western New York. So, it's wonderful. So, we're having a wonderful day.
It's funny you say we were talking off the air. You're from
Hmm.
Western New York. I'm
Yes.
originally from Western New York. I used to live in a town called Cheektowaga, Vegas. Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, I know Cheektowaga. I had not heard of Cheek to Vegas. Okay, where and that's near Buffalo?
Well,
Okay.
a little FYI for you.
Yes.
Cheektowaga has now been renamed the Cheetah Vegas, New York.
Is that okay? Sort of like Nashville. Now they call
You're
Nashville
like
Nash
looking
Vegas.
at me.
Okay. All right. You got me. You
Yeah,
got me on that
you're
one.
like looking at me like
I
I never heard
was
that
like,
one
well, this
before.
doesn't sound very familiar. All
I
right,
forgot to
we'll
say
go
when
with
you come
that.
on
We'll
the
go with
when
that.
you come on the Artist Spotlight Show, expect the unexpected.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. I like your humor.
You've not seen nothing yet.
That's
We're gonna
great.
have fun on the show. Two Western New Yorkers together. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
That's right.
So
There you
you're a
go.
huge Bills fan, huh?
I am a huge Bills fan. I go to as many games as I possibly can. Yes. So go Bills!
All right, so let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Joe Brady replaces Sean McDermott. They
Right.
have a new defensive coordinator, Jim Leonard. They have a completely new roster with still some of the returning players from last year still on this roster. What is your take about the Bills in 2026? Do you think that Josh Allen is finally going to have the year? Because he's been on record saying that the change is good, the change was necessary, and he thinks that the change is going to do the Bills good. With that being said, what do you think about the Buffalo Bills? Are they going to have a good year this year? Is this the year they finally get over the hump and get to the Super Bowl?
This is the year. I believe it. 1,000%. Yes. Yes. Josh is our man. So he can do it. We've seen him year after year, and now he has a baby. So I think just that gives him that little extra streak of luck. So it's going to happen for us this year. Yes.
I'm going to bring you back for part two, by the way.
Okay.
And when we bring back part two, we want to see how that prediction plays out for you.
Okay. All right. We'll come
In the
back in a while,
meantime,
I'm sure.
in the meantime, I want to talk
Yeah.
about your amazing musical career. And you have an organization. We'll get that a little bit later on in the interview. But let's kick off the show and talk about your amazing musical career. For a lot of our listeners are watching now that we'll be watching later. Can you maybe share your story, how you got started, where you are right now in your amazing career?
Well, I started out as many musicians. get started in church. My father was a minister of a church in Brooklyn, New York. So I wasn't always a Western New Yorker. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, Evangelical Free Church, and we were, by the time I was 3 years of age, I was on the platform pretty much every single Sunday. My mother had a string band, and our church was filled with Norwegian and Swedish Brooklynites who had settled there in Brooklyn. And so my mother started a string band where we all got guitars. We played, one of the men played a musical saw, 12 string guitars. We had fiddles. We had just anything with strings. And so by the time I was 4 or 5 years of age, I was playing guitar. It started out with the ukulele, of course, and then graduated to the 6 string, 12 string. And then by third grade, I was the church pianist in Brooklyn in my father's church. My mother played for Billy Graham crusades. So she and my father met at a Billy Graham crusade because my father was a young pastor without a wife and he needed a piano player and saw my mother up there on stage and beeline for her afterwards. And the rest is history. 6 kids later, we are all musicians. We all sing. We grew up singing together. So that really is the beginning of my musical career, was hearing my mother practice every night. She would play the Warsaw Concerto, Rhapsody in Blue, Brahms, Chopin, and I would go to bed at 8 p.m. and we would all just listen to my mother practice at night. And then of course we performed every Sunday at church. So it just really did grow from there.
At a very young age, you
Hmm.
began to play the piano. Two-part
Yes.
question here for you. At what point in your career did you realize, well, hey, I'm pretty good at this, and I might be able to make a living off of this? That's the first part of it. The second part of the question is, who is one of your maybe someone you looked up to during your career? So, what does that look like for you?
Well, I'm very classically trained, and so I had specific classical composers that I loved more than anything, like Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev. I loved Russian music because you could just play all over the piano and get all of your emotion out at the piano. But I also started writing at a very young age and journaling. Um, as a child, being in a fishbowl, we were expected to be perfect in church, all 6 kids. And um, I have a 5-part television documentary that we completed about a year ago, and we're right now pitching it to figure out which platform it's going to be on. But the first episode, I talk about that upbringing in Brooklyn, New York, and what happened in being raised in such a religious community of being expected to be perfect. So a lot of my writing started because I needed an outlet and therapy for what I was enduring as a little kid. And I did sadly endure abuse when I was young because we were hit, we were thrown across rooms sometimes because we had to be perfect in church. And no one in the congregation knew what was actually happening behind closed doors. My father was a first generation Swede, and he could be an absolute loving, amazing father 1 minute and turn into a monster the next. And so much of my music through the years has evolved because I needed the therapy, and the music carried me through so many different situations. Sadly, there was a lot of abuse through my life, but the music is what really carried me through to this point where there is not any abuse, obviously. And I'm able to turn what was a really difficult thing in my life into something very beautiful, where I can take a story that's a hard story to tell, but I can now take that. And through my music, you mentioned I have a one-woman musical touring show. I've been touring it since 2018 across the US, also overseas. And I'm able to help educate women, especially as to the telltale signs of abuse and how to detect when you're dealing with a narcissist, how to see it early on before you get into that relationship. That's a hard story to tell. But when you can take it and put it to music, it can turn something so difficult into something so beautiful. And that's really what I've been able to do with my touring one woman show. So that has been, I've women have lined up, men as well, after my show and just said, that's my story. I didn't realize, but your story is my story. It's not the exact same story, but hey, I endured that. I went through that. And now I'm listening to your songs because they're helping me get through it and see that I also can survive and thrive. And that's really what I want to help the world to see, that even if you've been through tough times like that, you can get past it and you can thrive. And I say we can all soar, after situations like that. But it did start in childhood. And I'm not saying my whole childhood was horrible by any means. There were some absolutely wonderful things that I had so many opportunities to travel and sing with my family. But it did give me the opportunity to start writing songs at a very young age. So when you asked me the question just now about how did you know that you were going to make this maybe a career choice or make a living at it,
Mhm.
I knew at a very young age. If you read my journals, even, I said, I'm going to be a singer, I'm going to be a writer, because just in that teeny little heart of mine, way, way back, I knew I had a story to tell. And I knew that I needed that therapy without anyone ever having to tell me that.
That's awesome. And you know, I had a similar background to like you had. Um,
Really?
yeah, my father was murdered at a young age. I never saw him.
Oh
I
my
never
God.
knew his name or nothing. And I was in
Mm-hmm.
foster homes. I was beaten and raped. Um,
Oh,
and I was in
wow.
different foster homes. Never, my childhood was stolen from me. Never had a father figure in my life. And so as I was sitting here, listening to you and your story and the abuse and everything, I couldn't help about kind of like what I went through, and you know, sometimes God puts you in places for a reason, and things happen for a reason. So you know, you're abused and I was abused, and here we are together talking about it live on the air. I think abuse is a very serious issue in the world today. I think there's a lot more people out there who have maybe been in worse situations that we've been in. They don't know where to go, don't know where to come to. And
Mm-hmm.
so thank you for sharing that with me. And here's where I'm going with this. Not only is your musical career have taken off, you travel the world and you're playing in front of sold out shows around the world because of your music. But you also started an organization. So let's talk about that organization. How did it start? Where is it now? And what are the plans for that organization moving forward to help people in abusive situations?
Sure. So I lived in Washington, D.C. for many years, over 20 years. That's where I raised my children. And while I was living there, I was in an abusive relationship as well. And so I reached out to safe houses. Nobody knew what I was enduring quietly behind closed doors. And so what I did was I started a nonprofit back then. It was called We Are Singing. And we helped through my concerts, we helped pay off mortgages for safe houses. We raised money for women who were in immediate abuse situations, like their glasses broke, and we would be able to fund that and help them get the new glasses right away, put them in hotels, that type of thing. So eventually, I moved to Nashville full time and started spending my summers back up here where I had spent my high school years and back in Western New York. And I had waitressed in a restaurant. It was called Dick's Harbor House in Mayville, New York. And I had worked with many women, and it paid my way through college, the waitressing back during those years. I kept in contact with those women for all these years, 40 some years later, and found out that most of those women had been through abusive relationships just like I had. Physical abuse, financial abuse. I mean, it's not just physical. There's financial. I went through some serious financial abuse as well in my life. And these women had been through similar circumstances. Many of them had never left town. Many of them had never had the opportunity to go get an education like I did. They were they just were stuck here and they weren't even able to make a good living. So I went back to that restaurant that was falling apart and I bought it and I gutted it and started this restaurant and hired some of those same women that I had waitressed with, their kids, their grandchildren, started working with me at my restaurant, and we made it a safe place for people to work. And it is called She Sings Cafe, Restaurant, and Bar. I will tell you that I recently decided, we were there for 3 years. I recently decided to close it because the need is so terrific in this area in Chautauqua County. The need is everywhere to help victims of abuse. But I opened She Is Safe of Chautauqua County. I get so many calls every week from women. We need help. We need assistance. And so, what we're doing now with that space, I own that building. So I'm using it now. We just had an event Saturday night that was so successful. We had a bluegrass band. I performed. We raised a lot of money for women in Chautauqua County. And rather than run a restaurant where I'm going 7 days a week, exhausted, now we're just doing event after event where it's only in the nonprofit world where our whole purpose for that building now is to have concerts, maybe do women's retreats. I want to do women's retreats this fall where they can come for 2, 3 days, get intensive therapy, and come here, get out on the lake. I'm on my restaurant's on a 28-mile lake where they can get out on a boat, where they can get individual therapy, where we can raise money. We are able to put women in hotels. I have different deals with different hotels in our area where they give us a discount. So when a woman calls me and says, I need to escape now, I am able to help her get out of that situation, put her in a safe place. And then we work with the local different safe houses that are not right in our area. They might be 30 minutes away. We have a wonderful one through the Salvation Army. It's called the Anu Center. We give some of our funding directly to the Anu Center, and then we help fund them so that they can actually give these women long-term housing situations with their children. So that building that I bought, that I waitressed in all those years ago, is now there for She Is Safe of Chautauqua County so that we can just raise money specifically to help victims of abuse and violence in our community of Chautauqua County. So,
That's amazing. I love hearing that, and thank you for doing that. I think, as we already spoke, there's a lot of abuse going on right now that we may not ever know. But it's
mhm.
great people like yourself who has the love and passion to stand up for that and to create a resource that people can turn to. Um, it may not be a quick fix, but at least it's a situation they'll be better in than they were in before. And so kudos to you. I mean, that's
Thank
absolutely
you.
amazing. And, Artist Spotlight Show, you know, I swear it's meant for you to be on the show today. The Artist Spotlight Show has a lot of your values. This show is all about people like you, where you had abuse, you had a rough bringing up, you had abuse, and it affected you in some way, shape, or form, and you turned that abuse into an opportunity, and you took that opportunity and you grew that opportunity. The Art Spotlight Show, and just real quick, I'll share this with you. This is we just finished up our first season number one up in Nashville, North Carolina at the Table and Mike Productions. That's in production right now, and we're gonna get a reel, and
Hmm.
we're gonna take that reel and we're gonna send out to investors because the next part of our show is we want to take our show on the road. We want to go to
Yay!
places that no one else wants to go to, right? And we're going to
Yes.
find those people. We're going to find the artists. We're going to find the abused. We're going to find people who have a story. That's what this show is all about. It's all about helping people to get their story out in the public, let people know who they are, what they're going through, and how we can help. So, that's the goal for the Art Spotlight show is we're going to take our show on the road, and we're going to go to places
Oh.
people want to go to. We're going to go there, and
Well,
you
congratulations to you and
yeah.
kudos to you as well for doing
Yeah,
that because we
yeah.
have to start, we do have to start in our small communities. And I find that so many of the singer-songwriter friends of mine that I have come to know and love for so many years in this business, the reason they're doing what they're doing is because they have been through abusive situations and that's how they heal. And that's how they help other people heal is through their music. So I love that you're doing that. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know who that sponsor is gonna be, where it's gonna come from, but we know that whoever that sponsor is gonna be, they're gonna have the same love and vision that we do, and
Yes.
it's gonna allow us to do more things and to be more involved in the community. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. Good.
So, let's talk about your songwriting,
Hmm.
alright? What does your songwriting look like?
It's a mix. I'm classically trained, so a lot of my music is piano based. It's a mix from country to pop to there's some jazz in my music as well. I wanted to tell you, when we're songwriters, it's hard to make a living doing what we do. And unless you make it big, especially now because of digital media. We're not bricks and mortar anymore. We're selling CDs. Where every CD we're making money. We're trying to get spins on Amazon and on Spotify and iTunes, and you might make a quarter of a penny per spin, and getting your songs out there and then getting people to listen to them, that's a really hard thing. And I think a lot of singer-songwriters are making a living now just touring because that's pretty much the revenue uh, source for people like me. What I did was, in order to go buy my building and to be able to do the music that I'm doing, record the music, it's very expensive to record, to put out a documentary series, to tour a one-woman show. I have no investors. And it's like, well, how could you possibly do that? Every song that you record could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 just to go in the studio, get your band in there for one song. And I've recorded for years in Nashville. I know what it costs. I went through a very difficult divorce back 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I was left with pretty much nothing, very little money. And I thought, okay, am I going to teach piano? What am I going to make? $50 an hour teaching piano? That's not going to pay the bills. I'm never going to own a home. What am I going to do? I sat down one night. I had gotten a little bit off my divorce and I had invested in Amazon stock. And it wasn't very much money at all. But I thought, hey, Amazon looks like a pretty good business and people are ordering all the time packages from them. They probably are going to do well, so I'll invest. So I opened a Vanguard account, put a little money into that, and I started seeing my stock grow. And then all of a sudden, this new I was watching the NASDAQ and Jeff Bezos was rolling out a whole new program and it was called the Delivery Service Provider. They were called DSPs because he wanted to offset all of the risk that he had taken on with these Amazon Prime drivers, right? So they're all out in the vans delivering the packages and they're wrecking their vans and there's, anything can happen. And he was paying the insurance, he was paying the salaries of these drivers. And so he decided to roll out this program where you just had to have a college degree, you had to have about $30,000 liquid, and you could apply online and potentially become a delivery service provider where you become a contractor to Amazon. And then all that risk is outsourced. So now people like me would take on all the risk. We go get our own insurance. We get our own LLC. We lease the Amazon Prime vans. We do all of this. Now, remember, I'm a mother. I have been on the boards of the schools in Washington, D.C. I've taught piano. I have never run a corporation. I sat down on the floor of that new little ranch house after my divorce. I'd moved out of my big, beautiful home in Georgetown. I applied to Amazon to become a delivery service partner, and they called me. And I said, like, are you serious? You're actually calling me. It's a very male-dominated business. And my narrative in being interviewed multiple times, I said, look, I've worked so closely with victims of abuse in Washington, D.C. What I will do, if you contract with me, I will go to these safe houses. I will recruit women. And I am telling you, women will do a better job than men. They will find the location. We raise families. We do it all as women. We can find the house. We can deliver those packages. And I can help them make a living so that they can get away from their abuser, so they can have some financial footing. And they liked the narrative. It took like 8 months, and they finally contracted with me. And I will tell you, and this is what the great story is, especially for women who say, I don't have any money. I went through a horrible divorce. My husband took all the money and, I stayed home. I raised the kids and now what do I have? Nothing. I contracted with them. It was August of 2019. By December, I had 125 employees. I had 57 Amazon Prime vans on the road by December. They believed in me. And I was out by Dulles Airport. My company became so big that they didn't have space for me at the warehouse. Amazon rented a parking lot just for my vans. And I
Oh,
did that.
wow.
I recruited women from safe houses. Many of our team, I would say 30 to 40% of my drivers at any given time were women. And we didn't see that with the other contractors. But we ran a top 5 to 10% worldwide business for Amazon. I did it for 3 years. I sold the company back in February of 22. And that's how I made my money. That's how I was able to get out there, film a 5-part television documentary. We filmed in Brooklyn, New York, Nashville, Tennessee, uh, 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 Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. Flew the team all over. So we've got our 5-part documentary. And I started touring that one woman show. I took all these songs I had written while I was going through a very difficult marriage, all these songs I had written from childhood, turned them into a one woman show telling my story, paid for it myself. I rented out those theaters. I I have no investors. I did everything on my own. And that is the empowerment to all of this is here's a housewife, here's left with very little after a horrible divorce, 18-year marriage, and I was able to get out there and find my own way to make money, to be able to do these things so that I can get out there and help other women. So I'm not saying that to be full of ego and look at me. No, if I could do it, anybody can do it. I had no corporate background, zero, zero. My major in college was piano. I was a piano pedagogy major. I was trained to teach piano and to perform piano. So I really had no backing at all, but I learned how to do it. I got right in the middle of it. And it just shows we can start corporations, we can get out there. And now I have this opportunity to put all my songs that I wrote and I can get them out there utilizing the investment that I have been able to put in because now, granted, I work 7 days a week. I was up at 3 a.m. every day. I did that for 3 years. I mean, doing the work that I did to make the money that I made with Amazon and be able to invest it in my music career, it was really tough. I mean, there were days I was nauseous all day. I was exhausted, but it just shows that you can do it. You there's the sky's the limit with what we are capable of doing if we just get out there and say, you know what, I believe in myself and I'm not going to let abuse destroy me. I'm not going to ever give my power away. And I gave my power away for so many years. And I've said, no way, no more. I'm not giving that power away. I own my power now. And that's what I want women and men. It's not just women this happens to, but that's my goal in doing what I do and the work that I do now is to encourage others to hold on to their own power and get out there and kick it. Go kick it. So anyway.
I love that. Let's talk about She Sings. Right,
Okay.
that's part of your documentary,
Yes.
and I want to find out more about She Sings. I know that that's like your bread and butter as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that really puts you on the map, and so I want you to maybe explain to our audience, how did it begin, where did the thought come from, where are you now, and what are the plans for She Sings down the line?
Sure. So I wrote a song called She Sings, I would say 25 years ago. And I carried that song all these years. And it's about having a voice. It's about, it doesn't matter what key you're singing in. It really is about having that voice in this world. That's what She Sings means. I've trademarked She Sings, and She Sings really is that 5-part documentary. It's called She Sings, Surviving the Narcissist. It's the touring show, which is called She Sings, a Soaring Musical. My restaurant, while it was open for the past 3 years, was called She Sings because of the message behind She Sings. And I am She Sings. People would come in my restaurant, I'd be at the piano and they'd say, are you She Sings? I am She Sings. Yes, exactly. So those two words have just carried me through all of these years. I wrote the song. You can hear it on Amazon Music, on Spotify. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. But that really is the theme song. And when I finish my one woman musical, I bring women up on stage. I'll let them know in advance, and I say, okay. When we get to the end, when we do the anthem song, I want you to get up out of the audience. You get up on stage with me, you hold my hand, and we do it every single time. And it's a different group wherever I go, whatever city I'm in. I've been in Aspen, I've been in Charlottesville, I've been in DC and LA. And I find the local women. We work with safe houses in those towns, and every one of my shows is a fundraiser. So then what we do is we give a portion of the ticket cost to whatever that local safe house is, and we recruit these women from safe houses to come in to the show and then get up on stage and sing. And when she sings, the light that she brings brightens up the earth, divides the seas with her own voice. In her own key, she makes this world a better place to be. When she sings, when she sings. And that's our anthem chorus. So that's what She Sings is.
Oh, don't stop! I want to hear the rest of the song.
You got to get on Spotify.
I
And
want
I need
I
to
want
make
an encore.
I want to spin those songs so I can make my quarter of a penny. So start listening on those listening platforms. So no, but
So I got a
that's
question about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a question about that.
Mhm.
We'll get back to She Sings in a second, but interview, you're talking about you don't feel like the artists are getting paid fairly for their songs. It seems like every time we interview artists, right, a lot of artists are saying the
Mhm.
same thing. The independent artist, we just had another artist. His name is Jason Ray Welsh. former
Okay.
veteran, was
Mm.
injured in war, and he's close to Grammy awards. He has some great music out there right now. We actually have him in our Myrtle Beach studio. And one of the things he mentioned during the interview kind of like coincides with what you're saying, that he's like, Russell K, the independent artists right now are starving. It's hard for us to make a living. And you're kind of like saying the same thing. So here's my question to you. I mean, obviously you're in Nashville now. You're very, very well off in your career. You've done an amazing job. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If you were the CEO of the music industry towards the independent artists, what would you do differently to make it an even playing field where everyone gets a chance to eat?
If you think about it, the chair I'm sitting on right now, that cost me money. I bought that. Okay. Somebody built that chair. That song that you're hearing, somebody wrote that song. Somebody built that song from nothing to become something that people enjoy. I enjoy sitting right here in my chair. Those songs people are enjoying. And every time that song gets played, there should be more money paid to that artist and or to the writer and to the artist, of course. But writers, if I were the CEO of, if I could just run the whole business, I would charge for a whole lot more for these songs. We don't pay mere pennies for these chairs that we're sitting. I'm just using this as an example.
Right,
But
right.
that song is it's somebody's artistic um it wouldn't be out there in the world except that somebody took that time and built that song just like a piece of furniture. So we should be charging more for the opportunity to listen to these songs. And it's a travesty, it really is. And I know that we have a lot of songwriters that go to Congress, and we're trying to make change in Washington, D.C., so that they are viewed as property. They are the property of these artists and these songwriters. And there should be more money paid. And it's just,
I mean,
in my opinion, it's
there you
horrible. So many people end up leaving the business because how are you ever going to make a living, especially if you don't make it big? If you're not one of the biggest artists, you just can't. You have to go get a side job. You're moonlighting, you're working at a hotel at night. I can't. There's so many friends of mine that I know that work so many different jobs, but they are so passionate about their music that they just put up with it and they get paid minuscule bits of money, but they do it because they love it, and so they take on other jobs. They shouldn't have to work other jobs. That's not fair. They created something, they built something, they should be paid for what they built. So I'm very passionate about this topic. So,
Let's get back to She Sings. All right.
okay.
You're in front of a packed house as always, so you're used to that, right? But I
Yes.
want to talk about when you get done rocking the house, people are getting ready to go home. As they
Mhm.
walk out that door, what is the memory of your music that you hope that they walk away with?
I think the biggest the most important thing for me is that people feel empowered. I don't want them to walk away feeling down and, oh my gosh, what did she go through? Can you believe that, this happened in her child or this happened in her relationship? Or no, it's not about that. It is about what happened after that. What did I do to make a change that I can encourage them that they can do, and they don't have to sit in that world of abuse and then just fold. And I know women who, when they've been through abusive situations, they will just isolate and they get quiet because they don't know what else to do, and they hold all that pain inside. And my goal, as those women who come to many of them do come to my shows, and men, I don't want to keep saying only women, but I want them to walk out feeling so empowered that maybe they'll even write a song. people don't realize they might even be able to write a song. They may want to just, maybe they don't put the music to it, but maybe they just write poetry about what happened. And maybe they, figure out another way to bring in resources. Be creative. What is it? What is your gift? Everybody has a gift. God has given all of us a gift. Oh, I don't have a gift. I hear this from people all the time. No, there's nothing I can do. Guess what? There is. What do you think about all the time? What's in your brain? It might be artwork, it might be flowers, it might be gardening, it might be, who knows? But figure out a way, where is there a need out there, and then fulfill that need with whatever it is that your gift is. You cannot tell me you don't have a gift. So when they walk out of that theater, I hope that they have thought hard about, what is my gift and how can I put that gift out into this world? How can I pay it back forward in this world with my gift? Be creative. There's, I mean, I have to say, running a corporation was not my gift, but I figured it out and realized, hey, maybe I actually do have a gift I didn't even know existed. So
Mhm.
people do have gifts they don't even know exist. It's until they start really thinking it through and look for what the need is out there, and then think about, how can I fulfill that need in this world? So I want them to walk out empowered.
You know, let's get back to your early stages of your life. In the interview, you talked about your dad was a good guy at one point, and at another point, he just like totally turned, and that's where a lot of the abuse came towards you. How hard was it for you to take a step and to let others know about you going through that situation? That must have been very difficult for you to do. And again, I tip my hat for you for doing it. But what was a breaking point that you finally said, you know what, enough is enough. I need to take a step forward, and I need to let others know what I'm going through, because my story may be touching somebody else. Do you agree or disagree about what I just said?
I agree, of course, 100%. I sadly see religious abuse everywhere. And I think that it is used, scripture can be used as ammunition, where there are people that will switch the words of the Bible and turn it to be what they want it to say. And they get by with abuse by using actual scripture where they've tweaked it, they've changed it. And that's not what's in the Bible. I mean, I was raised Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night visitation, Saturday open air campaigning. Like, I was in church constantly. And I would read scripture, and then my dad would say, "Oh, that's what this means." And I would think, well, that's not really I don't think that's what this means. But I see it constantly out in the world that we are living in now. Religion has become so important to people, and to me, it's more about spirituality. It's finding within yourself that God is in you. And if you're really going to take the scripture seriously, Jesus was love. And if we live our lives by love, there's zero abuse in love. So you can say anything you want and twist scripture around all you want, spare the rod, spoil the child, all these verses. But if you really focus on what that number one commandment is in the Bible, if you really do believe in Jesus, love is what should be the overarching theme for all of us in life. And that means there is no abuse. So I have a very hard time with religion right now, because I think that people are twisting scripture so that they can abuse, and it's so disheartening, and it's criminal. It's just criminal, the abuse that I see coming out of some of these churches. I'm sorry, people are not going to like that I'm saying it, but it's true. I lived it as a kid. And that's why I started speaking about it, because then in raising my own kids, I think that's when I really realized, wow, how do you hit a child? How do you abuse a child and emotionally, verbally assault them? How do you do that when love is what we are instructed to do as Christians? That's
Yeah.
really, it was when I had my own kids, I think I can say that's when I said, I'm done. I'm just, yeah, I lived through this. No child should have to live through this.
Wow. That's powerful. You know, the other day I was on TikTok, right? And I
Hmm.
saw this TikTok post. There was 400,000 people from India that was having a revival. And
Okay.
and here's where I'm going with that. You know,
Hmm.
much to your point, I mean, the world is such in disarray right now. There's just so much stuff going on right now. And the Christian music, and doing revivals and doing whatever it can. I mean, me, I'll probably get in trouble by my boss saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. When they took Jesus out of everything, that's when all hell broke loose. If they put Jesus back in everything, is it going to be 100% completely right? Probably not, but it'll be a lot better than what it is right now. That's my personal opinion of that. Before they took Jesus out of everything, we had issues. You're always going to have issues, right? But not like it is today. You put him back in, you make people aware of who Jesus is. He's real. You may not be able to see him. You might be able to talk to him, but you can talk to him by through prayer. And so it's really cool that we're having this conversation, right? I mean, I agree with you. I mean, here you are, you were brought up into church and you went through some pretty rough times, but those rough times escalated you into being a spokesperson now. And you have the stage where you can use your music, use your documentary to send out a message and a story that people are going to really need.
Thank you. I hope
Yeah.
that's what I am doing. I do hope so. I hope and pray that's, yeah. And I just so believe that that spirituality is in us, and that Jesus, God, whatever you want to call that, um, it's within us to have that power and that love. And that's that's my firm belief. It's not that you have to be in church every single Sunday morning sitting there listening to a man who may or may not be interpreting scripture a certain way. We can find it right here within ourselves and put that love forward into the world.
Let's get back to your musical career.
Yeah.
Anything new coming up for you?
Well, I'm trying to get my 5-part television documentary out there. So right now we are in talks. We are that The documentary tells my story, but it doesn't just tell my story. It tells millions of women's stories and men as well. It is a story that is riveting, when you hear what actually happened to me and how I, through the years of abuse, eventually fell apart myself. And I'm not afraid to talk about what happened to me and how I mentally fell apart. I ended up in a mental institution. I admit it. I mean, abuse breaks you down little by little, just chips away at your brain. And over time, it can kill you. And that's why I created my documentary to tell my story, because I don't want anyone to suffer at that level and let abuse chip away to the point that I let it happen. I can't say that it was my fault, but it happened to me, and I survived, thank God, and I am here to tell my story. So that's when you ask me what is it that what's next? I want to see my 5-part documentary series internationally released. I don't want it just in the US. We need that story internationally. We interview women all over the country about what has happened to them. And I will say that part of what this documentary is about is the abuse in our court systems. When I went through my divorce in Washington, D.C., instead of going into a court system where I felt protected, I ended up abused by the judge in Washington, D.C. Superior Court.
Oh, wow.
When you see when you see my story, you will understand. But I will tell you that I subpoenaed all the banks. We were homeless and broke because that's what had happened in my with my ex. He had said we were homeless and broke, venture capital guy. I subpoenaed the banks. I found over $20 million that he had hidden in 4 bank accounts. So this is what happens when women give their lives over. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to raise the kids. There's a lot of talk right now about trad wives. Oh, he's going to take care of me. Well, guess what? 18 years down the road, you don't have your money. You've raised your kids. You have zero guarantee that you're going to have one penny in the end because you have no control over those finances. And what I encourage women to do is don't do what I did, because fortunately for me, I did get back out there and I did make my own living after going through what I went through. But when you allow that to happen early on, you run the risk of becoming homeless one day, potentially, if you put all your trust in that one person and you don't make your own money. Make your own money. Have your own bank account. Don't ever stop, or don't just become you just run that risk is all I'm saying. And maybe you'll be lucky. Maybe you'll, you know, turn 50 and your kids will be off to college and you'll be there by yourself with that man and he'll take care of you still. But you have no guarantee that that's going to happen. And why put yourself in that position? So I encourage women, especially, to have your own finances, make your own money. Don't depend solely on that marriage and the fact that, oh, I put all those years in. Oh, I renovated that house. Oh, I did all of that. And guess what? It's I ended up having to get back out there. I now own 2 homes and I know own a restaurant. I own 3 buildings, but I could be homeless right now. Seriously. So there's just no guarantee. So I always encourage women, be independent, take care of yourself. So that's why I want that documentary to be out there to help educate and empower and heal, because the music is so healing as well.
Which brings me to our next question.
Okay.
Let's hear some success stories from all the amazing things you have done, whether it be on the music side, the documentary side, whatever. Can you share some success stories with us?
I think the biggest success stories is the women that I have personally helped. And it brings tears to my eyes when I think about it. When I know the women who I have helped who did go through similar circumstances as me, but because I told my story and because they became empowered, that's my success. If I can have one woman, save one woman, and help her get back on her feet, get out there and live a successful, happy, peaceful life. Because really, in the end, that's all we want. We want peace. We want to be happy and peaceful, and that's where that's where the true success comes, is in helping other people. And I know I've been able to help so many people because of that touring one woman show, by telling my story. And that's why I want to get that documentary out there, because there's so many people on a much broader scale that I can help when they see my one woman musical expanded into that 5 part series. Just imagine the impact that I can have if I can find the right platform to put it out internationally. So that's the success in life. It's what we can do for other people.
We talked about a lot of different things on our interview today, and thank you for opening up and sharing that with me and our audience. Um, this is just one of those interviews. It's like, you hope that it would never end. And so we're not done. I want to give the floor to you now. I know we talked about a lot of different topics. With me giving you the floor, is there anything in your heart that you want to share with our audience right now?
Well, in my heart, I want to hear about what you're doing. That how are you going to get out there and tour? Because I'm trying to get mine back up and running, my tour, and we will do that. We're just going to start booking theaters to get back and hit the road. But I really want to hear. I didn't realize when we got on this call that that's something that you are planning to do, and I believe that this means that you will be helping songwriters tell their stories and get their music out. So tell me about that. Is it that are you looking for investors? But tell me the framework about how what you're doing.
Yeah,
I
great.
hope it's okay if I ask you that because I've talked
Oh,
about
that's
myself
okay.
enough.
Hey, this is not a spotlight show. Expect the unexpected.
I want to know what's going on with you. So,
Yeah. So, Music Dreams USA Radio
mhm.
started with no money. Kind of like we start off the same way you did, right? No money, no contacts, no one knew who we were. And, a lot of people are saying, well, it's a pipe dream. Here you are 6 years into the business, you still are not making no money, you know, and people know about you, but where's the money? Blah, blah, blah. And, through that process, I think that we went through that process for a reason. And it all started this year when we went to Merle Fest 2026, which is one of the largest festivals in the country. We got the invite to do that show. And we were in front of
Wow.
350,000 people doing the
Ah,
Artist Spotlight show.
mhm.
And do you not know that when that festival was over, the organizers of that festival were bragging about the Artist Spotlight show? And from there, our show just exploded. I mean, we were getting hits left and right, and our station was starting to grow. We're getting phone calls and emails and social media messages from radio stations in San Francisco, artists,
Wow.
all kinds of people like, oh my God, we love what you guys are doing. It's like you guys are growing so quickly. We love what you're doing.
Hmm.
And so one day we just sat down. It's like, we know we got a program that people need. I mean, this is a program. It allows people an opportunity, just like yourself, to come on live, share your story, share your feelings, and not feel threatened by doing it. That's what the Artist Spotlight Show is all about. It's about uncovering those artists, people who have a story. Um,
Mm.
it could be anyone. This is a show that could be very interchangeable. And here we are on the Restream platform, but we feel that we can still do the Restream platform. But what about taking this show on the road and going to places that people don't want to go to, or interview people? Well, yeah, I don't know. That's not who we are. This show is about you. It's about an opportunity for you. Interview is not about me. This interview is about you, and giving you an opportunity to share your story. So to answer your question, we are in need of money. We're we apply for our nonprofit organization. We're just waiting for
Hmm.
Uncle Sam to send us our approval letter, and then at that point, we're hoping for donations. But we're also looking for sponsorships. We're looking
Hmm.
for that one sponsor or a combination of sponsors who have the same vision and goal like they have with their business that they have for the Artist Spotlight show. And we're hoping to team up with those sponsors that will give us enough money to not only pay for our staff, but the more important thing is to use that money, put it back in the communities we broadcast live in, and reach as many people as we possibly can.
Mm.
That's the vision, that's the goal of the Art
Hmm.
Spotlight show.
Yeah. So are you thinking that you would get out on the road and set up sound stages and then put these local artists up on stage, give them a chance to sing their songs? Is it mainly just songwriters, or are you talking about poetry as well?
Everyone, everybody.
Everybody. So that they
Yeah,
can
it's
tell
gonna be
their
a live
story
show.
in whatever
Mhm.
way that they want to tell their story. Okay.
Yeah. We have a production team already in Nashville,
Hmm.
North Carolina. They're called Table and Mike Productions.
Okay.
Caleb is our producer, and he believed in us from the very beginning. When we recorded season one, we didn't have to pay 1 cent for the
Hmm.
production of the recording of the shows. They took care of that because they believed in what we're doing. Table and Mike Productions is a subsidiary of Eagle Street Corporation, which is a nonprofit corporation up in Nashville, North Carolina.
Hmm.
And so now we're getting ready. As I mentioned, we just ended season number one, and we're just waiting for the reel to get professionally produced. And when it does, we're going to take that reel and we're going to knock on every single door we can. And
Good.
we believe that there's someone out there that's going to believe in what we're doing right now. And we believe that we're going to get that sponsorship money, and we want to turn it into a TV show. We want,
Yes.
yeah, we want to have,
Fabulous.
we're going to have you back on the show, and we want to
Hmm.
turn it into a TV show and turn it into a reality TV show that is going to expand. We'll go to different cities. We're going to go to different places, and we're
Hmm.
going to reach the people have a right to be heard.
Beautiful. I'm going to be brainstorming. I am. And what, like you said about having those 350,000 people there, it's all about exposure. So the more that we share your radio show, which I will be sharing today with my social media, the more that we all do that, and I'm hope that my listeners and my followers will then share as well, because that's really how you get the word out, and then you find your corporate sponsors and start raising your money from investors who have very similar goals. So I think that's a beautiful thing. Good for you. I really do wish you the best. I know it's going to do well. I'm sure of it. I like your energy. It's great.
Uh,
So,
yeah, I mean, we love doing the interviews just like this because, you know, we may have never met prior to this show. Again, special thank you to Annette and her team for putting this interview together. And when we get done this interview, I'm going to send her an email, let her know that she's got some very classy clients, some
oh,
very classy, caring clients who are a pleasure to have on this show. You're a
well,
great
thank you.
example of what this show is all about, and the fact that you want to take a step out, you don't even have to, but you're going to take a step out to try to help us, to get this show on the road, and that just it makes you want to cry, right? It makes you want to, it's like all the sweat equity that you put in,
Yeah.
all
We
the
all
hard
have to
work.
help each other, because really overcoming, bringing awareness to domestic abuse, any type of abuse, it's until we all have our voices heard and we all work together towards it, nothing's going to happen. So, yeah,
We're going
everybody
to be that
doing their
platform for
part.
you. We're going to be your platform. You wait and
Yeah.
see. We're going to be that platform, and it's going to help you get your documentary out there. You wait and
Ah,
see.
I hope so.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Together we
Yeah,
can change the world.
that's
That's
right.
that's what
You're
I
more,
believe. So,
yeah. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Talk to us about your Nashville experience.
uh, Nashville's my home. Nashville is my heart. Oh my goodness. I can't, every time I get off a plane, every time I drive back in and either land in Nashville or I drive in, I'm at home. And Nashville there's a lot of hype around it now. We have sadly really overgrown, I think, as a population. I think it's leveling out a little bit. But so many people have come because people are friendly. The music is everywhere. Any night of the week, you can go listen to music. These are my people. Nashville's my people, because I want to go and listen to music any night. And I can't, here in Western New York, I can't do that. Anywhere that I go in this country, there's nothing like that town. And it's almost like, please stop coming to our town because there's too many of you. But I first moved to Nashville in 95 within the first year, I signed a publishing deal with Major Bob Music, who is partnered with Garth Brooks. And then I signed with Sony. So I've had two really amazing publishing companies that I have had the opportunity to work with just my songs alone. And the chance to meet people in person there, at least back during those years, it was easier. I think now, because we've grown so much, it is a little harder. But we used to have our cassette tapes, and we would have to print up our lyric sheet. We would fold it up, rubber band it to that cassette. You'll remember, those old cassette tapes. A lot of kids
Oh
now are
yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Now it's MP3s and Lord knows what. But then we were able to just walk into these record labels. I would walk in with my guitar. I would sit right in front of a record executive, pull my guitar out, and I would just start singing live for that person. I would haul my piano in. And back then, you could do that. It's a little harder to do it now. I would guess I'm not out there pitching my songs now because I'm on my own path with She Sings. But those were amazing, amazing years. And they still are. They've just changed. The industry has changed and things are so digital now. And it's just accepting that that is the change and then going with that and saying, okay, well, how do we move forward with the different platform that we have now than what we had when I was really young and first? Uh, I didn't know anyone. I literally moved to Nashville, did not know one soul. I said, that's it. I left Washington, D.C. I had a business there. I was modeling in New York City. And I said, I have to start doing my music. And it was the most inviting town, accepting town. Immediately, I started writing with legendary songwriters. To this day, Bobby Braddock is one of my very best friends. In fact, I'm heading back to Nashville tomorrow because he's being honored by Sony. He's been a Sony writer all these years, and there's an event. So I'm heading back because he invited me to go to that. I have so many legendary songwriter friends that have been my friends all these years because we all have one thing in common. It's music. And it's just such a beautiful thing to have friends that do what you do. And Nashville's the mecca for that, really, in this country. I think of any town in this country, really. And now we've brought in so many genres. It's not just country music. It's every genre is represented, and we have amazing recording studios. And I keep saying, don't move there. And here I am promoting it right now on your show. So don't move there. Don't listen to me. Don't stay away. It's too many of you living in our town, but I love Nashville so much. I can't say enough about it. It has been my place of peace all these years. So, yeah.
Do you have any memories? Let's take a step back on memory lane for you. You know, looking at your illustrious career, where you started, where you are now, and then just all the things that you've done and all the things you're involved in. With all that being said, are there any memories that are with you today that maybe happened back then?
I mean, I've had so many memories, so many opportunities I think the writing opportunities are what have really struck me as the most. First of all, I've had two children, so I have to tell you, supreme in life is that I am a mother to two kids. That's better than any music, any song I ever wrote. And what's so wonderful is my daughter now works in the music industry. She's working with one of the top labels. My son is in Congress. He is the youngest. Um, he's the youngest press secretary in all of Congress. He works for a congresswoman. So I've raised two beautiful kids who are doing very well, even though I went through so much during those years. Anyway, so I have to say that first because that's like the
Mhm.
best memories is raising those two kids. But like, okay, I'll go back to Bobby Braddock. The first time I ever wrote with him, I was terrified to even approach these people. Like I would walk up to Fred Kohler or like, some of these amazing songwriters, and I just thought, hey, it can't hurt. hey, would you consider writing with me? And Bobby Braddock said yes. And so he will only write in his basement. And so I show up at his house and we, sit down. And when you write a song with somebody, especially with a legendary songwriter, you want to show up with every title you could ever imagine. We call them hooks, because you don't want them to have to work. You want them to keep writing with you. So I came in with, okay, here's a title. Here's a title. Does this strike you? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And the first song we ever wrote together, I had had a dream that there was no more love left in the world. Don't ask me why, but I'd had that dream and I wanted to write a song called World Without Love. And when he writes, I can't tell you how inspiring this man is and how brilliant, because he just starts coming up with things like I didn't even have to write. I come up with this title, and next thing I know, the verse is written, the chorus is written. I'm on my guitar. I'm like, okay, let's say, how about this melody? Do you like this melody? But the cutest thing about him was if he couldn't come up with a line, he would go get up, stand in the corner of his basement, turn his head away from me, stand in the corner. This is what Bobby Braddock would do. Just put his head down. And he stood there for like 5 minutes. And I'm sitting there going, okay, what's he doing? Is he okay? Wait, why is he over in the
What did I say?
Why is he over in this corner doing this while I'm sitting here on his couch? And he has this whole recording studio down there. And then all of a sudden he turned around and he goes, I got it. And the song was done. Like he just, that's what he does. I don't know if he still does. I haven't written a song with him in a couple years, but he just went in that corner. Another great story is I asked Fred Kohler. He wrote Angel Eyes. I don't know. He wrote a bunch of hits. You have to look him up. But I went to his house to write with him, and I was very young. And he lived in a log cabin with neon lights. And I'll never forget driving up, and there's like neon lights, a log cabin. I'm like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I go in, nicest guy you could possibly meet, and surrounding his whole house, like it's like one big room. He had a guitar everywhere, everywhere. And I was playing a Siegel guitar, which is like back then it was like a $300 guitar. I think Siegel's now running $1,000, somewhere around there. But back then they're really great guitars. But at that point, I didn't have a Gibson, I didn't have a Taylor, I didn't have a great guitar yet. And so I'm not putting Siegel down because now they do have great guitars. But we start writing. It was a song called Don't Be Shy. I'll never forget it. We recorded it, everything. But I'm playing this guitar and he goes, you need a good guitar. Like you should have a really good guitar. He goes, look around the room. Do you want a guitar? And I look, I'm like, what? He had a Gibson J200 black, massive guitar. And I'm 5'9". And I wear heels. So I'm like 6'1" usually when you see me. I'm pretty tall. And I need a big guitar. And I had been eyeing that guitar the whole time we've been writing. And I said, would you sell that? Would you consider selling me that guitar? He goes, my Gibson J200 was from like the early 90s, and it was like they don't allow you to make guitars anymore from that wood. It was either in Montana or Wyoming, I don't know. And he sold me his guitar, and guess what? It's sitting right outside this room right now. Every gig I have played since then, I am on that big black Gibson J200. It is the jumbo style. That is the
I
guitar of
gotta
the
see that
century.
guitar. I have
And
to go. I have to see that guitar.
you want me to pull it out
Yeah, well, let's see you pull
right
it out.
now? Like
Yeah,
right now? It's
we're
literally
on
right
this
here.
on a spotlight show. Let's go.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay. You can put me on pause if you want. Let me grab it. Hold on. It's right here.
The Artist Spotlight Show. What an amazing interview we are having right now. And kick back, relax. We're going to see that guitar, and hopefully we can get her to sing some songs. We're going to ask Rebecca if she wants to sing some songs on that guitar. Don't tell anybody. When she comes back, we're going to ask her. And again, our show is being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide, Table and Mike Productions, and
All
Roswell Family
right.
Sports, and Bugger Bay Barber and Company. And here she comes.
All right, check this baby out.
Well, I gotta be honest with you, right?
Ooh,
Exactly. I had you go get that guitar
yeah,
because another
because
thing
you
I
got
didn't tell
yours.
you about on our spotlight show, the artists have an opportunity to sing a song live on the show right now. Are you up for it?
You want me to sing a song for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me put it. Hold on. Okay, let's see. There's nothing shallow about her. Sometimes she walks on water. She might be right, might be wrong. Doesn't really matter. She's gonna get there. Yeah. She reaches for precision. Nothing blocks her vision. She lives by the truth that she's been given. She's living. When she sings the light, she brings bright into the earth. Defies the seas with her own voice and her own key. She makes this world a better place to be. When she sings, when she sings. Been such a long way down history's highway. She's fought to take her place in this world. No, it hasn't been easy, never been easy. But there on the horizon, her star keeps rising with the pride of generations guiding. She's shining, and when she sings the light, she brings bright into the earth, divides the seas with her own voice and her own key. She makes this world a better place to be. When she sings, when she sings, when she sings, when she sings. All right, there you go. There it is.
Woo! That was
Yeah, that one I
awesome.
usually
Great
play.
job. That was amazing.
I play that on piano. I actually never play that on the guitar, but yeah, this is the guitar. You can see. Look at these beautiful tuners. It's the Gibson.
Wow.
Thank you, Fred Kohler, because This I purchased in 1995 from Fred Kohler at a writing appointment. I don't even know if he'd remember, but anyway, yeah. So it's carried me all these years.
Oh my goodness. What a great way to bring the interview to a close, right? For you to sing
Well,
that
thank
song
you for
she
letting me
sings.
sing. I love to sing, and that's what this is about. She sings, so yeah.
Wow. Any final thoughts you want to share as we wind down our show this evening?
Just if you have a platform for my documentary series and you want to reach out and you'd like to talk to us, we'd love to talk to you because we are right now looking to put it out there internationally. So that's really my number one goal at this point is to get that out there and heal the world with that documentary series. So,
Hmm.
and I thank you so much, Russell. It has been such a pleasure getting to know you. I can tell we're going to be friends for a very long time. I can tell.
Absolutely,
We
yeah.
will be.
You're
So,
my new BFF.
okay. All right. You are mine.
And we're
All
gonna
right.
we're gonna be that platform for that documentary. You wait and see. I
Okay.
think that this show's already worldwide anyways, so you
I
know
love
what?
it.
We can make it happen for you. And what a pleasure it's been to meet you, and what an amazing interview it's been, and amazing conversations. And you know, it's been a long time since someone interviewed me, so that was pretty cool.
Oh,
So
I'll interview you. I want to hear. I mean, if you're doing what I'm doing, we all should be supporting each other and finding out what each other are doing. So, yeah, together again, as I said, we can change the world, and that's what we're going to do. And we have to. Yeah.
we are all in, my friend. We're all in, and if there's
All
anything you ever
right.
need, yeah, we're also be there for you. Again, special thank you to Annette and her team for bringing this interview together. And you take care, my friend, and
Okay.
keep on doing what you're doing, and to reach the people who've been abused, and and just keep on doing what you're doing. You're amazing job and amazing journey, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you, and same to you.
Yes,
All right.
blessings. Yeah, blessings you and your family. Get ready for
Thank you.
part two because we
Okay.
coming back.
All right. All right. You take good care.
All
Thank
right.
you again.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much. You take care and enjoy your day. And again, thank you for making music great.
Thank you. All right. Bye
All
bye.
right. What a great interview that's been. And a special thank you to Rebecca Magnuson for taking time out to be with us. And again, if you're an upcoming aspiring artist, you're looking to get your name out there, please send your request to info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. Do you have a story that you want to share and it's dear to your heart and you're looking for a platform that will give you the opportunity to share that story? You have found us. That is what you heard me and Rebecca talk about it on the show today. The Artist Spotlight Show is a platform which allows people to get up and tell their story and let people know what they do and what they're all about. If that's you, reach out to us. Matter of fact, you know, before we came on live with Rebecca, we had two requests, one from Texas and one, I believe, from Arizona. And we had two different stories that were dear to these people's heart. And so I took a moment and I read those stories. And it just really touched my heart. The stories that they have, that they want to share. And again, that is what the Artist Spotlight show is all about. So we're going to set up a time for those two amazing people to come onto the show to share their stories. And trust me, when they come on the show, they're going to blow you away. These stories are going to blow you away big time. Again, it's your friend Russell K with Music Dreams USA Radio. And I'll leave you here today telling you that on the show today with Rebecca, I share some personal things about me that I've never done in my career. I shared some very personal things that I would never, ever share with anyone. But the way that the interview was going, it made me realize Rebecca had a story and so did I. And it was time to share that story. So thank you, Rebecca. And again, thank you to Annette and her team for bringing the interview together. I'll leave you with this. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If any above are answered yes, what are you waiting for? You have got a story to share. And each day you go by without sharing that story, one day you can look back and you wish you did. Our Spotlight Show is waiting for you. Take care and enjoy your day. Blessings to you and your family. And no matter what you're going through, you look up in the sky and you look to Jesus. He's never late, but he's always on time. No matter what you're going through, Jesus is never late, but he's always on time. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you for supporting Music Dreams USA Radio, Biker Bay Barber and Company, and Table and Mike Productions with Eagle Street Corporation up in Nashville. Wishing you a very pleasant rest of your day. Tell your family and friends about us. We'll see you next time on our Spotlight Show. It's your friend Russell K. Thank you so much for watching.